comprehensive plan for Tuesday, September 30th, 2025. And do all rise for the invocation pledge of allegiance, please. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for allowing us to be in a free country where we can assemble and take care of the business of our fellow man. Be with us as we deliberate and discuss and plan for the future for the greater good of White Springs. We ask all this in thy name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, go ahead with the roll call. Gansby. Present. Brazil. Present. Woodard. Here. Well, we got Mike Shady here, you know, we're always got the attorney is here, and how many of you are on the way? Mayor, we're welcome you here tonight. Thank you. Glad to have you with us. So, the next thing is the approval of the minutes, which I sent to you a long time ago. That last week was July, and I did change number one for the record. I had in there Sullivan's EDA instead of CDA, because I changed it to CDA on the computer. So take a second to look at this. If you don't remember what we wrote down, but you turn that in this motion anytime to allow us to make a motion for the minutes of July 10th.
I move that we accept the minutes for July 10th, 2025.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, vote on the motion. All yea? Yea.
Yeah.
Any nays? All right, so 4-0. Anybody else have anything to add to the agenda? Because we've got to get lesson before tonight with our consultants here to tell us what they've been doing for the last 3 months or 2 months or whatever it is.
I don't know if we need to add this to the agenda, but I brought updates for the resolution 2026-03, updating the fees that we have to vote on for the town council and handing out to the members. The schedule of fees.
You get, I thought we was at council meeting.
No, I just wanted to hand it out.
Okay.
This hasn't been voted
That's
on.
good. It's handed out the information, but, yeah.
We haven't voted on it yet, but I updated the draft.
Okay. Let's see. Give me a second, see.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you did, you go at least compatible to the size around the area.
Yes, so I compared it to Hamilton County,
Good
Swan
evening.
County,
Good
Live
evening. Sorry.
and
Come in.
How are you?
County. So I made like a whole chart.
All right.
Ballpark.
Yeah.
Take it out.
We're on the lower side. But
You all is here.
How you doing?
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, all right.
yes, I voted.
Okay,
That's
so
nice.
all committee are here, so we've just gone through the invitation and approved the minutes, so, Ms. Gamsey has just passed out a fee schedule for completing the zoning and changing the LDR and all that here in town, that we'll be moving on that, I think at the October council meeting. And so now our next thing is, anybody from the floor got anything, Mayor? So did you back there, Shay? I don't. Here, none,
Not yet.
Not yet, no. If you don't say that, you can't say anything. We've got rules of iron fist. You know what you're doing? No, at this time we have our consultant from CDA here, Mr. Lowell Garrett and Clay Schwager.
Yes, sir.
And the floor is yours.
Okay,
Right,
great.
don't take anything else.
Okay, no problem. We'll be
No, okay.
concise and then want to answer any questions you have and get some feedback. So appreciate the chance to be here tonight. I'm Clay Swagger and this is Lowell Garrett, and we're land planners with EDA. And so we're glad to be here tonight and give you an update to this comp plan committee. I handed out some materials. I don't expect you to read all of it. A lot of it's just sort of refresher and background information of where the town has already been in the comp plan update with the state of Florida. And so it's really just for you to take with you and have for your file, and happy to answer any questions on those. But I will take a couple of minutes and kind of go through the timeline of what the town has done already. And a lot of this we did discuss at the last, the previous and the first comp plan committee, which was back on July 10th. So if you look at the agenda, I just put a timeline together, and really the process started last July, where the town received a notification from Florida Commerce, and throughout this document I just called them the state, but it's Florida Commerce, where they had sent a letter to the town indicating that their comp plan was out of compliance, and that a private property rights element needed to be included in the comprehensive plan, and some population projections needed to be done for the town as well. And so the town manager at the time reached out to us and asked if we would be able to help the town, and we indicated that yes, we'd be happy to help. We helped the town on September 17th prepare a response to the state of Florida Commerce, indicating that yes, we would prepare the necessary comp plan amendments within the next 12 months and transmit them to the state, send them up to the state for them to see. And so that commitment was made back last September. October, November, December last year, Lowell and I assisted the town leadership at the time to put together a private property rights element, which is a very, very short part of the comp plan that really reflects some statutory requirements that all comp plans need to have certain policies that just reiterate what individuals' private property rights are in the state of Florida. And so we put that together. We did also put some population projections together and some backup information. On February 11th, the town council voted to transmit those amendments to the state of Florida, Florida Commerce. And then a couple months later, April 14th of this year, the state issued what they call an ORC report, or objections, recommendations, and comments. That's number 4 in your backup material. We did go over this last time as well, but essentially what Florida Commerce came back and said, they said that's good that you have the private property rights element, but we also want you to include in your comprehensive plan the population projections for 10 and 20 years and how they might affect in other parts of your comprehensive plans. You've got different elements. You've got future land use element, capital improvements element, conservation element, and several others. They also wanted to have an updated list of capital improvements to be put into the comp plan. The previous list of capital improvements was from 2014, which is when your comp plan was last adopted. And so we had a conversation with you all about what needs to be done to make those amendments, bring them forward and then have them adopted by the town council in a way that is acceptable to Florida Commerce. So we're still in the process of the comp plan update right now. We're in compliance, if you will, with Florida Commerce as far as having an active application. We realized that there's more work involved than what we originally anticipated. So at our last meeting, we had a conversation with you all about applying for a Community Planning Technical Assistance Grant, CPTA, through Florida Commerce. There's several $million the state legislature usually, and they did again this year, put in their budget for local communities to request for planning assistance for projects like this. And so we worked with the town manager to put that application together. That's in your backup material as well. That's number 6. We asked for $38,000 from the state to be reimbursed to the town for all of the necessary work for the comprehensive plan update. And so we submitted that request on July 23rd. We are still awaiting a response from the state. They still have not given out the grant awards yet throughout the state. We think it will be in October when they award the grants. We hope that you're very competitive to receive that. We didn't ask for the full amount. We tried to ask for a lot less, just to try to be as competitive and lean as possible. So we have been waiting to do a bulk of the work until we know whether the grant is coming through or not. But if it doesn't come through, we still have to do the bare bones amendment process just to get the plan back in compliance with the state. I gave you a lot of timelines early on, but we realized in July that we had 180 days to respond to the state with their initial comments. So we spoke to them at Florida Commerce and asked if we could have some more time. There was changes of management and elected officials in the town, and a lot of change, and they very kindly granted us an extension to make the adoption, to finalize the adoption of the comp plan amendment. And we have until April 9th of next year to prepare this work, bring it to you all, bring it to the full council, and have an adoption, and then give that material back to the state. What we'd like to do is prepare that information, and then after you all had a chance to review, we'd like to meet with the planner at Florida Commerce who did the original review, make sure that it's satisfactory, covers all the bases so we get it done right and complete. That is most of the background of what has been done in general. We do have some information we'd like to share with you on the second page of your agenda. These are the items we'd like to go through with you tonight. I've given you the update, which is bullet point number 1. Number 2 is we are awaiting that grant approval, which we're hoping we'll hear back in October. And the most fun part, I think, is that we have we've done quite a bit of GIS work, and thank you so much for providing us that file. That was unbelievably helpful. It was so wonderful that you had that, because it would, starting from scratch would have been a massive effort. So,
And expensive.
and very time consuming and costly. So you saved the town a lot of money. So thank you, and time. So we worked off of that GIS file from, I guess it's sort of from about 2019, and we worked with Hamilton County Property Appraiser and received more GIS. So your GIS files now for the town are in really good shape. We've got a future land use map, and we have a series of maps here. These are all maps that the state typically requires, and I'll go through them one by one. They call them a map series, comprehensive plan map series. Some of them are very, very basic, and some are a little more involved. So I'll just go through them quickly and show you what they are, and if you have questions, I can bring them up. I'm going to start with the most basic ones to get you warmed up here. Let's see. So they do require environmental mapping, and so this is a wetlands map based on National Wetlands Inventory. It has the GIS parcels for all the parcels in the town of White Springs. Your land is pretty high and dry, which is probably not a big surprise. Older towns, people built where it's high and dry. So we do have a wetlands map for the entire town. We also have a yes, sir.
The areas that are marked there, do you have the flood map references to them?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
Well, let's bring that one second. So we do have, thanks, Phil. We do have a flood zone map. This is based on FEMA map. So we have zone A, flood zone A, and then sort of the darker color AE, which has an established flood elevation based on FEMA. So anyone who can come to town hall, and this will ultimately be in your comp plan in the backup, they can see if their property is in the flood zone or not. This is based on current information. And they'll also see if there's any wetlands that are known on the property. This wetland information is pretty accurate. It's not perfect, so if there's a questionable property, someone should have an environmental consultant come out and take a look. And by the way, I'm going to leave all of these maps with you, and I can also email them to you all in PDF, because I'd really like for you to pour over them, look at them. And the latter maps here are going to give me more discussion and input. Some of these are sort of matter of fact, the contours are, I guess what the contours are, but I really want your input on these maps while we have a little bit of time. But we wanted to get these in front of you because we thought this is really helpful. This is based on 5-foot contours throughout the town for topographic contours. This is an aquifer recharge map.
There's a lot of work.
Yeah. I'll put this one back here because I need it again in a minute. Soils map, this is just based on the USGS soil survey. Kind of general information, but that's something that's typically required in a map series. I want you to look at this one closely and make sure I've got it right. This is a town parks map. I want to make sure I've got the names right, I've got the locations right. Is Big Shoal geographically in White Springs, or is that out? No, that's out. Yeah, so we've got Stephen Foster, Mulledy, is that right? John Henry Graham Memorial Park, Turner Park, and Bailey Ogburn Recreational Facility.
I know there's 3 other on this side of it.
Right, yeah, that's what they are. That's not getting.
So I'm happy to receive any input on that.
Yes.
I'd like to look at this for a couple minutes before we move on.
The turn point.
Yeah, I see it. I see it. That's a Mowgli of Collie.
Oddly of colleague.
It's Suki. Our hometown.
Wonderful.
We just submitted for that today for Auburn improvement today. And we were going to do for Graham, but we got to work on that some more. It's more tough than we thought it was.
Okay.
That's actually a wetland, I think.
Yeah, right.
It shows up on the wetland map of it. It is a wetland.
It's more than that.
It does not show up on the wetlands map, so
But
if it
I
has a
don't know how
small
wetlands, it says it, but that was a question that came up that we didn't have answers to.
The national wetland inventory that we use usually kind of maps larger wetland areas. If there's a small,
This don't have like, this is
the
like.
little small isolated ones don't always come up on their maps. Yeah, so appreciate Mr. Vaughn. He helped us out a lot. He shared with us some of the utility maps that the town has. And what we did is we put together a utility map that shows the sewer infrastructure in, I guess that's sort of dark green, and then the water infrastructure in light blue. And so this is a quick reference map to see, you know, where the water lines are, where the sewer lines are. I know that Ray has got some more detailed maps showing where he wants to make some improvements or extensions, but this at least shows you where there's service available. So now if people come in town, they can see pretty easily. Hopefully that'll be very helpful.
It will be.
And so, but I haven't given this back to Ray yet. It's based on his maps, but I definitely want him to.
Does sewer take 41 out of town?
Yeah.
The sewer doesn't go in?
Yeah, but the road is more common.
Well, it's,
There's a line that
there's a
runs up
force main.
41, but it's not a, I don't think it's any connection. I think it runs that plant up on
Is there-
41.
But you can't connect it.
The force main.
It's force main.
Yes, sir. Yeah, the force main runs up to your plant, up several miles up the road. So maybe we should show that on here. Maybe we should show the.
Well, I think the way you look at it, again, we'll
Mhm.
comments on it.
Wonderful. Just a very basic map, but this is a transportation facilities map. And it essentially shows regional roadways, in other words, state roads or county roads. Actually, this is just state roads. You got State Road 136 coming into town, 41 coming through here. Those are shown orange. It also shows the rail line that comes through town. That's a pretty standard map that is included in the series. There's a little bit more detailed map regarding transportation. It's a transportation functional classifications map. And so that's based on the type of road. Is it an arterial? Is it a collector? Is it a local road? Arterial roads are usually state highways, high traffic, more volume. And so those are shown in red, and essentially those are the two state roads that come into town. Blue is a major collector road, which is County Road 135 running out of town on the northeast side. And then,
Is that what Becker Trail?
Yeah.
and then we've got, in green is the minor collector road, which is another county road. It's County Road 25A, running out to the west. And then the rest of the roads that are paved in town, at least the best
10 miles of paved roads and 1.1.
so we colored all of those in purple and called them local. And the idea was that it was all the local paved roads. So there may be some areas in here where you all say, I know that's paved right there. So please, it was our best effort.
May report to DOT today on it, but what we knew, so we'll use that
Wonderful.
one. Double check.
Okay. Great. And so, let's see. So this is kind of fun, and you really have to sit and study it for a while, but this is the existing land use map. So that doesn't mean the future land use map, it means what is on the ground today? What are these properties being used for physically? Sorry, I know it's hard for all of us to see, but I tried to use the property appraiser codes to the majority case here. For example, in yellow, you see single family. That means there's an existing single family home on those properties. And we did break it out to show, because the property appraiser had the same code for mobile homes. We wanted to break that out so you can see where those are. And those are in the browns that kind of sprinkled around town. A lot of different categories here. But the yellow is single family, the brown is mobile home, the red is different types of retail, commercial, the blue is public. So I would definitely ask for you to take a look at this. Let me know if you see anything that doesn't make sense or doesn't work. We thought about how many different categories do you have, and we start to whittle them down. But we really just try to keep with sort of what the property appraiser identifies the existing use on those properties.
So you have the old school on 41 as public schools? You might want to feel like right here. And some of this public space, privately owned that.
Yep, you do. Was that privately owned now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Purchase and sold.
When it was sold, it was rezoned, didn't they?
No, I haven't been rezoned.
Well, that's right.
The buildings
Right,
don't fit on the lot.
right.
Okay.
That's gonna be interesting.
My guess is that the property appraiser still identifies
Still
it as
showing
a
it.
school. And so it's sort of a kind of outdated information
I
there.
hope they're paying taxes.
Yeah. I'll make note of that one, but please let me know if you see others now or later. Hopefully this is helpful to you all. I mean, I know we had that rezoning discussion recently. We didn't really know where the mobile homes were in town, how many, now you kind of can see. That's just one example. It's just information that you all will have at your disposal. Next map is a listing of the vacant parcels by future land use category. So this is based on the future land use map. So any parcel that is colored means it's vacant, and the color is based on the future land use designation on the map today. So, you know, there's some parcels in here sprinkled in downtown that are red. That means they have commercial land use map category right now. Yellow, that would be a vacant lot, single family. Residential land use, I should say. Green, not sure how helpful that is really, but it's green means the vacant parcel with agriculture land use, which you can do things on there. You can build a house on a few acres. But you can see there's still quite a bit of land in the city core, town core that have undeveloped lots. So there's still a lot of potential for new homes to be built or businesses. That's the intention of this map. Now, we were able to recreate the 2014 future land use map that's it's adopted in the comprehensive plan. This is what's on the books today, so to speak. I know that in our last meeting, we had discussions about there were some places that really there were some errors made back then and haven't ever really been updated or corrected, if you will. Some of these areas in light blue, which is designated as environmentally sensitive, those are residential lots. Just for example, I remember that one in particular. But this is the, in fact, I may use the board or the easel now to put this board up. This is your land use. Thank you. That's what you have adopted today. And so, wonderful thing about the GIS information that we've been given is that we have what was intended to be adopted in 2019. And I'm sorry I can't get everybody, but thanks. This is what we could consider to be a proposed future land use map for adoption now, or some version of this. But what this is exactly what the town has worked hard on in 2019 to make some corrections. You know, some of these parcels down in this area that were identified as environmentally sensitive, but really they're not, and they're residential lots or commercial lots. So this reflects that effort from 2019. In your backup handouts, tables. We've got a couple of tables. These are just a quick summary of what you see on these maps. And I'm sorry, I made a typo. This is, the top row should reflect the 2014 land use map. It says 2024 when one place on accidentally. So the top row is the adopted land use map today. Bottom set underneath that blue line is the 2025 proposed map, at least the draft copy. And you can see on here the differences in the acreages between 2014 and 2025 proposed. There are some large differences in a few areas, but I think a lot of that can be explained. Part of it is some of the state-owned land. It's sort of the northern end on Stephen Foster. On the previous map, it had some agriculture in green, it had recreation in pink, and the idea back in 19 was to turn that and make it all public, which is the blue, because it's publicly owned. So that explains why there's a big increase on the public land use category, with 134 new acres. There's a reduction of environmentally sensitive lands at 14 acres, and that's essentially just this area down here with the lots that are really kind of seem to be incorrectly mapped as environmentally sensitive. There are some other changes here and there. I think the committee back in 19 probably looked really closely at some of these areas about what's actually a commercial business and commercial use down here. And that's why you see an increase of commercial areas about 15 acres. There's not much of a change in the residential sort of core of the town. The colors are different, so you just have to be aware of that on the legend. But most of it is, you've got residential moderate in this orange, which was, it's all orange over here. So it's really not, this map version is not really impacting or changing the residential areas. It's more or less updating some areas. But I'd love to hear from you on like your recollection of what was done, and hopefully.
We took all the ordinances that had changed, the future land use plan and zoning, and we incorporated those into that 2019 map. It implemented those ordinances that the map hadn't been redone since like 1998 or something. So it incorporated all those new ordinances. There have been a couple more changes. There was a change in 2019 and we got that on there. But any ordinance that has been passed since 2019 would have to be reflected on that now.
Land use change?
Yeah.
Have there been some since 2019? I don't know.
Well, you see that red square there by 41? Here, across the street is a gas station. I can't imagine they won't be residential buildings.
This is exactly the kind of feedback we need, and
Exactly.
I'm sure that
Is that
property
what
owners
storage
like that to be.
That's the red
That's
square is
commercial.
the storage facility.
The red has been de-annexed out of the town.
This?
It's no longer in the town. I think it's 1701, no, I can get you the ordinance.
Yeah, that would be great. Obviously, we need to make sure we have, that's one of the fundamental things, to make sure the town limit's correct. So,
I think
if you have an ordinance on that,
you
that'd
are, somebody had their property rezoned, but that would have to be, well, that was, did they change the future land use map, or was it just a zoning change?
oh, the recent, that was just a rezoning.
Okay, so I don't know if that's reflective yet or not.
It didn't affect the land use map.
Okay,
So the rezoning was consistent with the.
okay.
Well, I will give you all, I'll leave the hard copies, I'll give you PDFs, and if you wouldn't mind taking a little time over, the next few weeks and just look at them, any input or comments you have, I think that this is a really opportune time to go ahead and make the updates. I think the goal is to bring your comp plan into compliance, and we know we've got to do some of those nuts and bolts things. But since we have the book open, so to speak, updating the map correctly, it's a really, really good thing to do. And you'll have the GIS filed in the future. Town will have them. So when you make changes, it's not difficult. And we also, I know we're here regarding the comp plan tonight, but we do have the zoning map as well in GIS. So once this process is done, you may want to, it's your discretion, you may want to look at some zoning map updates, land development code updates, it sounds like everybody has probably different parts they want to update, but the mutual agreement is probably needs to be refreshed. So the good news is we have all that now. So the framework's all in place. We want to share these maps with you tonight. Obviously, we want to make sure they're accurate and that everybody's very happy with them. I'm hopeful that we're going to know if we get the grant in the next few weeks, month, and then we can really drill down and get all the work done, write the reports that need to be done to support all this, and get it back to you a month or two after that. So I think we've got plenty of time to April, but it will. It won't take, it'll be here before you know. It'll be Christmas and whatever. So input on the maps is important. I also gave you a printout for Mr. Vaughn put together. That was his effort to update capital improvements for the town. So any input you have on that will be appreciated as well. We need to make sure that the list is updated to be included in the comprehensive plan.
The thing that jumps out at me is the removed overhead utilities, 4 phases of that. And that was basically one person that wanted to do that. And it's pretty unfeasible. Yeah, that's a lot of money to spend.
So for the wastewater management plan, isn't there a lease up for that in something like 2038? And we have to start planning and exit strategies, that should be on here.
Well, we've got the county, just submitted 2 or 3 months ago,
Emergency management.
HMGP, and
It's like
uh,
emergency management grant, so through
Yeah,
the
through
county.
what we had to,
Yeah, we had to put down certain projects.
we had certain projects and we had included them in there, so they need to mesh together because they all become part of the capital improvement and everything. And this is one where they, gosh, wake up when all that.
Did we ever build the pond that was required out of the water plant? Well, apparently we're using the pond that belonged to Nutria.
We're still using it with everybody's lesson, John.
Okay.
Is that what ends in 2038?
Yeah, that's that was one possibly until 2038, have to be something done, but all indications are that they've got another 8 or 9 good years of mining and everything out there, all reports we get, so we need to keep that in mind as we plan everything.
Your GIS data, does it show address points, structured address points, driveway points? Or you just driveway?
Address points.
You don't really have any long driveways in town, so.
Yeah, we've got the addresses on.
Because I rode,
Spreadsheet.
about a week ago, I rode every street in town, and I counted no less than 20 abandoned, open structures that need to be dealt with. Kind of part of this whole process that we're gonna have to deal with, everything from house structures, trailers, no doors, no windows. A couple of them for sale over on Sunrise, there's like 3. for them for sale.
Well, we got a lot of that.
Yeah.
And, Lola, do you have anything to add to, what you said, or anything that you might have? I don't know if you call from your boss there, but,
Sure. You're talking about the abandoned structures.
is that or anything we talked about here that, you might?
You're talking about this, John? Well, basically, I think you can see as Clay said, this map here is designed to be kind of where you're at right now. So when you get time, when we get beyond this stage, you'll be able to, update this. And that'll make a difference to you. These are standard colors for land use. This is a little bit confusing here, but it's, I think the use of all of these maps is going to help you in some of the, I know in some of the inquiries you've been making recently. So hopefully you'll be able to use those and good use of them. This is all required for the update. That's all I have.
Okay.
And Lowell's been extremely helpful to me to make sure we're going through the right components of the updates and include everything. So he's got a lot of expertise. I really appreciate your help.
Well, thank you, boss.
Appreciate it. Let's have a little discussion. If any of y'all have any questions you want to address to them.
I have a question. What is the process to go from where we are now to having these be legal documents that can be referenced in zoning?
So I'll give it a shot first. The future land use map is one of the maps that is adopted with the comp plan, the comprehensive plan. So when we adopt this before April 6th, the future land use map will be adopted as part of it, and that it becomes law at that time. It's your official map. Right now, your official map is the one from 2014. It doesn't affect the zoning map. The zoning map would have to be amended separately, separate process. So if you wanted to revisit your zoning map, which would make sense because it has some discrepancies, if you will. But we really need to amend the future land use map first. So you look at the comp plan now, it's about 50 pages, you thumb through it, it's texts and tables, and then there's a map at the end, it's the future land use map. So it will become adopted as part of this process.
I noticed in the EAR, there were 10 issues that you identified. So we're going to need to go with each one of those 10 things and adopt the language to go into the comp plan that addresses those issues.
What you're going to have is you'll have a couple of documents, but they're going to be combined.
Yeah.
You'll have a comprehensive plan with the amendments that are called out in your data analysis, which will be an appendix, which is really what the state is looking for. So that data analysis spells out the potential policies for the comprehensive plan that you're going to need, obviously. What we're trying to do now is we're trying to identify those. Now, we know that, some of them will be policies, some of them you'll handle in other ways. And then you'll have, in addition to the comprehensive plan, you'll have the series, map series, which I'll switch right down. And you will have a water supply plan, which is a requirement of the state now. So there'll be two appendixes. One will be the data analysis. The second will be the water supply plan. And then you'll have the public facilities element will be based primarily on the water supply plan, conservation on the water supply plan. Future land use will be based on the data analysis. That's pretty much, so it's going to be a combined, nice tight little package that you'll be able to use. And generally, in the past, they were all done separately, but we wanted to make sure that the state would have, something to get you on.
I can add to that as well. A lot of the issues in the ear are not necessarily things that need to be embedded in your comprehensive plan. Some of them are, including adopt a private property rights element, water supply plan, which will be included. But a lot of them are just, recommendations or things that we saw, create a planning process, have an economic development program. Those are things that we thought would be important for the town and the input we were given, but not necessarily need to be written into the comprehensive plan. So the data analysis report, as Lowell mentioned, it'll be based on population projections, the map series, the planning horizon has to be in each element. So it's a lot of nuts and bolts things, but it's sort of separate from a lot of those major issues.
Okay, anybody else got any questions for our consultant?
A follow-up question. So the flume is going to go into the comp plan. The rest of the maps, are those just going to be reference documents that don't need approval?
Most of those will go into the data and analysis, which is not adopted in the comp plan, but it's the supporting information. So most of that map series will go in the data analysis. Transportation, facilities map.
That's a good point.
There'll be 2 or 3 that get adopted into the comprehensive plan itself, and the rest will just be in the data analysis.
I do have a question on that might help. On your transportation, actually, there's a couple of elements that are involved. You have level of service standards, okay? And all of your functionally classified roads are either state or county roads. Your local roads are basically designed for the use of the property owners on either side of the road. So they're not functionally classified. So the state no longer requires a level of service standard for transportation, nor does it require a level of service standard for recreation. So we recommend that you take those out because you have no control over the state roads and county roads. So, and as far as the parks go, it was like pie in the sky. So the main thing is that you get these projects that you're interested in, like your FERDAP project, on your capital improvement, because the state agencies are going to look for it there. And if it's on there, it gets you extra points.
So I hope you can see that we've been working on this, and we're obviously keeping this high on our priority list. We've been sort of pacing it out, waiting for the grant information, but we'll come back and meet with you all anytime you like. I think once we, I'm not sure we're ready to schedule another meeting yet. I think
I don't think so. It takes a lot of review to be done right here.
we'd love to get all the feedback from you all, and I think that the next meeting we have, perhaps it's late fall, and then we have a draft of the data analysis report, and we have a draft of the comp plan amendments. The maps are hopefully 95% ready, with the final input. We bring it all back to you for your review. Send it to you ahead of time so you can have a chance to read it, so you don't just have it dropped right in front of you at the meeting. It's not really fair. And then we're in really good shape to hopefully schedule an adoption hearing with the council in the very beginning of next year. I think that's what we would recommend.
And I'd like to really look at maps, so if you'll send them to the manager.
I'll do it first thing in the morning. Thank you. Now's the time. It seems like last time, 11 years ago, it didn't happen this way. They adopted some things that probably weren't totally scrutinized, so.
It's a whole new day.
How would you like to receive the comments on the map? Email?
You can write right on the maps. That's the easiest way. That's certain, because we can
I mean, we're happy to receive individual emails from you all, or you can give them to your distinguished chair to hand to us, yeah, however you like. Don't be bashful, and we'll read them all and incorporate them.
Would you like the smaller version? I mean, like the letter size version? Would you be able to use
I
that?
would like an email with them in there, so I can.
PDF, we can print on the side.
That'll probably work out, okay.
They're pretty small PDFs, so we can send them all in one email. It's not gonna be a difficult process to send them over, if you'd like.
Yes, for me, anything I recommend a change, I'll send to the chairman.
On this, I was just thinking maybe if we can just schedule us kind of a workshop here in the next couple weeks or so.
Awesome.
If you do, if there's I saw the questions on the maps here, that we jot, I think we can jot down page 2 notes, just from reviewing the maps and what information you got, I had a chance to look at it, and then, based on that, and then maybe in a couple weeks after that, maybe get them back in here. But I don't become just, but I think if we can have an hour or so, hour and a half of meeting, the maps here, pass them around between us and look at it, and you remember that, I remember that, you remember this here, so, we can do that. So, is there, I know October's busy, I know, but, Tuesday the 21st, all right, maybe just have us have a work session, I'm playing meeting work session. And just sit here, back and forth, but is 6 o'clock okay, or is it earlier, or later? You don't think you'll need to be off?
And that works for me. 6 o'clock.
6 p.m. on the 21st, we'll schedule a workshop, okay? And for map review and anything else we come up with, and then that kind of, we'll set a meeting and we'll work it out with them. Right. So I know we'll schedule a meeting, because we'll tell them what we'll talk about. You know, and the other stuff you can send us, so that's good. Yeah.
I think that sounds like a great idea. Just look at it, take your time. That existing map is the vacant map. You're gonna find things on there that need to be tweaked, and it's the best we could do. I think it's pretty accurate, but you're definitely gonna find some things on there, no doubt.
Okay,
Just get it right.
So the 21st, at 6 o'clock, we'll comprehensive plan workshop. The other thing is establish a meeting date schedule. We never did that, and I don't know, you ready to establish a regular meeting schedule, or just, because I see a lot of work in that between now and March. Because I'd like to see it out here in March. Or early there. So I'd just like to, if it's okay with y'all, just have a meeting and schedule and come, we just said that way I know I can't do it on Monday night because Robert take her to school with him.
Yeah, at school, I mean, you do it if you don't want me here, I guess.
No.
Tuesdays are usually pretty good for me, so.
Yeah,
Tuesdays are pretty good.
And again, there's a lot of stuff coming in the community and all in October too, so, but we do it on the 21st, I'll get it advertised out, and if anyone wants to come in here, and I'd like to have the maps stay here as much as possible. But you want to come in here and sit in this room or wherever and look over them and make notes free anytime, it's just, so, because we'll get out somewhere else, the kids get into it, mark all over them, put it up there. This is the best one we can.
We'll leave the boards for you too, so you'll have them,
Okay.
Do we settle on a specific Tuesday, or we just?
No, unless y'all want to set on a specific Tuesday in the month, or whatever, but I was thinking right now, we're gonna have to have more than 2 or 3 meetings between now and time we go, so I think it'll have to be as pretty much as needed, based on availability.
Oh, yeah.
We can work, we work around that, because, you know, I think all of us can work out, you're pretty much available in the evenings, and you can,
I'm required.
yeah, I heard that.
I'm a tad bit busy, but I.
Oh, well, all right, so let's go, okay, so the next one will be 21st, a workshop.
Sounds great.
I'll be scheduling, it just be a workshop to what call it, Mount West or whatever it's called. Is there any other new business anybody has, anybody in the audience out there? Mayor, you want to make some comments now?
No, I'm
Give you 2 minutes.
I'm observing.
How about the other young lady back there? Anything?
It's my wife.
Oh, you're a young lady. You still be a young lady, but your wife, huh? Yeah. Okay.
Now's the time to get up and criticize him.
Did I hear that? Motion to adjourn or what?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
I second it.
Okay, we'll be adjourned and begin on the 21st, and thank y'all for coming, but again, these maps are here, and the other thing, I can get you all the, yeah, I got you. Yeah, I got everybody else's email, so if you don't have them, like that, the more I shoot them to you.
Yeah, if you do that, I'll be sure to see it now.
Did everybody sign in back there tonight?
I'll sign it for you.
Sign in back there, you can do it, please. Okay, we stand.